Hello everybody, my name is Doomfish, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a very versatile redstone contraption that can accomplish a lot of different things, and that is the slime block or honey block flying machine. So this is the most simple iteration of it, and there are tons of different designs. I'm just going to show you a few in this video, and if you've never seen the flying machines before, this is how they work. You update this observer right here, sends it back, and update this one, it'll send it in that direction. Now, when I started making these flying machines, or when I first learned them, I thought they were going to be very difficult to make. But they actually are very simple. And as you can see, this is definitely the most simple design that everyone makes, and it can go in both directions, just like so, pretty easily. I'm going to show you how to make this very simple design. So the first step for this design is to just go ahead and get your boundaries set up. So we take a movable object and we say, I want the flying machine to move between here and let's say here. So we'll get that space set up, and we need to construct the flying machine. To do that, just take a sticky piston facing out of this, a slime block on the front of that, a sticky piston facing backwards on the edge of this slime block, and then another slime block here. Then what we need to do is place some temporary blocks up here, on top of these slime blocks, and place observers facing up. Now, before we break these blocks, the way you can tell what observer you need to power is based on where the sticky pistons are adjacent to the slime block. So if we were to power this observer, since this sticky piston is facing this slime block, it won't be powered. But since this observer, or since this sticky piston, the side of it is facing the slime block, it will be powered. So we can break this one, that would have powered this piston back here, but since there's an immovable object, nothing happens. Now we break this, observer updates, and the flying machine goes off. And you can see, now that it's at the other end, we can power this observer, and everything works properly. Now, the easiest adjustment you can make, and something I would recommend doing, depending on your choice of flying machine, is to make a automatic send-back mechanism. Now, what we need to do to make this mechanism is just place an observer facing into this trap, or into this observer right here, a solid block behind it, redstone dust on top, and a repeater set to 4 ticks up here, and then a trapdoor in front of that repeater, and it'll send the mechanism back when it reaches this end right here. And now that our flying machine is back at the start, we can just update this observer right here and see the mechanism work properly. So we'll see, once it reaches the end, trapdoor will fire, and this whole thing gets sent right back to where it started. Now if you don't want to place a block here, something you can do is to just place a block in front of the face of this observer right here, place a button on the end, so we just grab any button, like so, and grab a trapdoor right here. So that way, whenever we want to fire this piston off, all we can do is just update this trapdoor, which will update the observer, which will send it back. So the perks of this flying machine design is that it can move in both directions freely, it's very compact, and you can build things off of it very easily. We can see, let's say we want to make a harvesting mechanism for a bamboo or sugarcane farm. All we can do is just put a few slime blocks on the side of this, and you can see, it should work just fine. As you can see, it's stuck to that slime block, so it's a little asymmetrical, but that's just fine. Obviously, you can make adjustments to this as you see fit, but this is definitely the most basic design for a slime block flying machine. Our next design for a horizontal flying machine is going to be a inline design, so our other design sort of is raised up a block where these observers are, and this design will not be. So what we can do for this is just make 2 slime blocks here, and make a little diagonal shape with 2 slime blocks here. And we're going to place a sticky piston facing forward, and a sticky piston facing this way as well. And you can see our shape is already coming together a little bit. And we're just going to place a observer facing this way. So we have that. And we're going to place a observer facing this way. We break this, see, it gets sent off. And I do want to move this piece of obsidian. There we go. Just so our observer is available here, and we can place a block here and send it off. Now this design can also be rotated as well. So for example, we could have something like this. We start a design, and we can just place the same shape, except vertical. And so this way, it will be in line horizontally. And this is great if you want to place all of your flying machines sort of one by one, or together. Which you might want to do for some situations. As you can see, it all works, and I do have to kind of rush over here to put our obsidian down. There we go. And it'll work pretty much fine. You can see everything goes back. And the nice thing about this design, which I'll show you in a minute, is you can put slime block flying machines right next to one another. So if we want to have a larger area for a slime machine, what we need to do is just build out more of these slime machines, but replace the honey block or the slime blocks with honey blocks. So what I've done here is just made a little redstone line behind the observers here, and enough for 4 more slime machines. So what we're just going to do is go ahead and build these up, make sure all of our observers are placed the right way, and we can see they all fire together. Now when we place our blocks in, we need to alternate slime then honey, slime then honey. So it looks something like that, and we do the same thing on this side as well, just making the same design that we did earlier, and then make sure all of our other blocks are facing the right direction, just like that, and then the observers lastly. When we hit the button on this side, we should see everything comes at the same time, and you can see a very, very big block of slime machines, and then we can hit this button and move it back. So there are a lot of cool uses of this design, like let's say we wanted to make a moving wall. It's pretty easy to do. We can just make a couple of blocks here, and again, make sure to alternate slime and honey. It's a very important step, otherwise your machine will break. And make sure all of these are firing at the same time, and we can just place some normal blocks right here. And you can see, hit this button, it all moves away. And we hit this other button, it'll all move towards us again. So you make there's a ton of options for like secret compartments and stuff, and some things that are worth experimenting for. Next up, we'll be making a vertical design. And the simplest one is something like this. We need to place, and again, I have the obsidian on the top and bottom here. You need to place a sticky piston up, slime block to the side, slime block on top of that, sticky piston facing downwards, 2 slime blocks on top of this, and we need to place a observer here and here. And this way, everything should work properly, so we can break this, since this one powers the downward facing one, and this one powers the upward facing one. So we break this, we'll see, everything works perfectly fine, and we update this. But again, works perfectly fine. Now it's a bit trickier to make a callback system in this design, but we can still do it. What we're going to do is place an observer facing up like this. We're going to place a block on top of that, and a block in front here. A repeater set to 4 ticks, and a block on top of this repeater, like so. And then leave a space right here, put some redstone dust, and then we're going to put a trapdoor right in here. See, everything works fine. We'll set it up again, and it should get sent right back down. One of the most common uses for this type of machine is an elevator. So this elevator design is pretty simple. It's the slime block machine from earlier, with just a couple of extra slime blocks and then normal blocks on top. And what we can see is that if we were to power this piston, you can see everything moves up just like normal elevator would. And if we power this one, the whole machine moves down. And it's pretty easy to make a little system to power this. All we have to do is sort of do something like this, where we have a little block right here, something like this. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you can figure it out on your own. And this isn't really part of the slime block machine, as more this is part of the elevator specific design. But something like this will work just fine. So we can say, we make the same thing up here, where we have a button, and then redstone, and then a trapdoor underneath. Hit it, just like that. And you can see we have a functioning elevator very easily. Hit the button, goes up, the other button goes down. And there we have it. There's a couple of different flying machine designs that you can build in your world. And this tutorial was less of a showcase of individual flying machine designs, as more of it was an introduction to how you can make your own flying machines. So just to review the important parts, we have an observer facing into each of the pistons we have, and we have slime blocks connecting all of our pistons and observers to one another, like you see in the examples below. And again, we can build our various callback systems or firing mechanisms. There's a ton of stuff you can do, and I encourage you to build your own designs on your own worlds. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you found it informative, or if you enjoyed the video, don't be afraid to leave a like on it, and you can subscribe for more content just like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.